So one thing I just shared before we get started, if you guys could do more videos of yourselves, it's going to be huge. And I'll tell you why, because I'm getting ready to start a new social media campaign for all of us. And it's going to be through one of the guys in the Leverage group. He owns a marketing company. And so the way that it works is we're going to load up videos for a month at a time. So you won't have to do anything. I know you know about this social media thing. It's not new or anything like that. But let's just be honest, none of us are doing it. Right? But when you have a system in place, like I'm literally going to drop $2,200 a month on this program, and you just have to do anything. But I can't create the videos for. So if you guys are out doing showings or whatever, if you have somebody with you, whether it's a girlfriend or even a customer, even yourself, or you guys want to go together or whatever, just take a bunch of videos. The more videos you have, and then we're gonna get them over to you, right?
Exactly, and then I'm gonna upload them onto the share.
Yeah, and then we're gonna just put them in, even if they're older, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like this isn't for your friends and your family to oh my God, well that was a year old. You put that shit back up again. Yeah, don't worry about any of that. Just the more videos, more content, the better. So if you guys just start working on that, it'll really help the lead program.
Do you want speaking on them or just?
Yeah.
Speaking is
So
great,
the best videos.
Does it need to have that?
No, it doesn't have to be no, it doesn't. It's just the more the better. So we're talking about Sean, getting more video content because I'm getting ready to do a big social media campaign with Colton from Leverage. And one of the biggest things is to have video content. So we're gonna get all this video content and they're gonna just load it a month in advance. And it'll all be scheduled, right? Because it's very time consuming to be able to put your own shit on social media, right? So just as you go through out your day or whatever, just take whatever videos you want and then just send them to Randy. We gotta figure out what the best way to get them to you is.
Yeah. Right.
Randy's gonna keep them in a shared folder. We're gonna share them with our account manager at Colton's company. And she's gonna plug them in for the whole entire month, okay? So, the more videos, the better.
Yeah.
Can they just be?
Anything.
Yeah.
The ones that get the most views and the most likes and is with you in.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of not doing that. Like I'm always filming everybody else. Look at my family. Look at what I'm doing, but I'm not in it as much, And like even with you with the karate thing, I'm sorry. It's not karate.
Yeah.
It's not karate. I know it's not karate.
Cobra Kai.
This lady I've been working with social media just sent her a bunch of stuff that she's putting together, but I can do it.
Absolutely, because listen, this is a paid program. Like we're paying for the content and to reach people that don't know us within a certain mile radius. Used to be that we were able to select a lot of different criteria within the Facebook paid program, which none of you guys have ever done, because I know you haven't, because there's a lot involved. You have to set up pixels, you have to do pick categories in this. So I used to do it in one of my other coaching programs, but it's very basic. This is like on steroids. So the more video content that you guys can create, the more leads are going to come in. So real quick, why don't we all?
Right now. Sorry, Thomas, your social media is really good right now.
Yeah.
You're very active.
And I'll just say thank you to Heidi for always being consistent with every day with what we're doing and sharing it with us. It's motivational to everybody. So thank you for being consistent.
It's like a benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very routine.
Yeah.
That's good. So why don't we just take a quick minute and get present and then we'll jump into it. So get yourself organized, phones down, or whatever. All right, then let's give me 30 seconds.
So much need. Makes me.
We're all connected.
I was feeling it today. Yeah.
Red, where, blue.
Yeah. Were you debating it?
I didn't get the blue memo.
Yeah.
So today's meeting is going to be really good. So if you have a notepad, pull it out because I'm going to share some stuff with you guys that's going to get you to the next level. from what this foundation is that we've been building. But before we do that, let's just get a quick minute to get present. I know you guys been on the road and dealing with your shit this morning and walking dogs and working out and everything else that you do in the morning. So just close your eyes. And as we take our breaths, don't think about anything. Don't think about, oh, the person next to me is watching me not take the proper breath. Okay, just give into it. So deep in breath in. One more time, this one deeper. Whenever you're ready, just open your eyes and come back to it. So just a reminder, we always do that just to change our state, like Tony Robbins calls it, so we can all just forget about what just happened and focus on the next hour here. And today, we're gonna do a real estate Q&A. We're gonna talk about the importance of knowing the numbers, which is gonna be huge. And then we're gonna talk, the whole entire month of August is all gonna be about your database. It's the foundation of everything that you've had. So up until now, you know, I've been bringing a lot of outside sources for you guys, and it's only just been about, hey, this is what's working for me. And, you know, a lot of you guys are been focusing a lot on that. So I want to refocus on the real estate business because I think we've established a good foundation. You can't really do great in this business unless you believe in yourself. So that's what we've been spending these last couple of months on. So let's just start off with how does everybody feel about the foundation that you guys have established? Who would like to share? I'm not gonna make everybody share, just whoever wants to.
I feel like I created a solid mold of what I want my business model to be, or like what I am making it. It's just being able to follow through on it.
Okay, so what about the foundation about the work that you've been doing on yourself and to be confident that you can do well in this business and all that? Okay, sure.
Yeah, like I start my morning when I'm walking Cove and Casper and I say my affirmations out loud. And I feel like starting my day like that, rather than before every morning, I used to start my day thinking about what I just did yesterday and like how I can fix it or something like that. Now I'm like, nope, clean slate, it's a new day. So I feel like telling myself those things really helps, you know, like
Yeah.
puts me in a better state, it makes me feel good.
I love
Yeah.
that. You guys have heard me say a lot of times the reset button, that's what I call it. You call it the clean slate, but for me, it's like, I hit the reset button all the time, like all the time with my thoughts, with, you know, what I'm doing with my business, with what we're doing with the team. And, you know, I heard a video the other day, I watched the documentary and I'll share it with you guys. And the guy was talking about everything in the world is a wavelength, right? Which it is, sound, light, everything's a vibration, right? He's like, so you can't have these expectations of always being like this. And he made it a really good analogy. He's like, you have to have the down to be able to have the up. Because it's a constant up and down throughout your entire life with everything. And he's like think about you're gonna go take a jump. Turn the air down. And so think about if you're gonna go jump, what's the first thing that you do before you do a jump? Yeah, you go down, right?
Right.
And by going down, it gives you that motion to go back up to where you need to be. So to me, I just always hit the reset button because like you think and thinking all these thoughts and you're like, all right, reset, boom, and you go back up. So I love it. Anybody else have anything that they feel that transformationally has changed for them in the last couple of months that has been able to give you the belief that you can actually be the person that you need to be?
I'm just more at peace, like I don't get bothered or as upset or stressed out like I used to.
Yeah.
Like things happen and it's just like happens, you know, like it doesn't, I don't know, I I just remember my whole life, I've just been stressed and tense and worried, and I don't really have that anymore. So I have a lot to work on with the positive side of things, like my confidence in things, but to get rid of the negative had to be the first step.
Absolutely. It's like, I never believed, well, I would kind of believe it, but now I know that it's true, like the whole yin yang thing, the day night thing, that you can't have one without the other. So you had to have that negativity to be able to know what the positive side is, and I'm glad to hear you looking through that. Does anybody else want to share?
I don't know if it's similar, but I would say that I feel like I've been able to lean more so into my like the dark, what I presume is like the darker side of myself, like, and not have as much judgment out on it, and actually be able to use it like critically effectively. Like, not just like be like, oh well, like, if I'm not like this, then it's absolutely fucked. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we all have different sides of us.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny, even if I get like angry and I'm having road rage, I'm like, oh, okay. Feel it, and
Yeah.
let it the fuck go, like
Right.
now I'm like that
You
rather
said-
than being
Yeah.
like,
so let me tell you why
It's
this
awesome.
is so, I'm gonna say fucking important. Because this is your business.
Yeah.
And this is not a job, right? Like, there's no requirements. You're not getting a salary to do this, because you're an entrepreneur. And you have to have that foundation. Otherwise, I don't care if it's real estate or anything else that you're an entrepreneur at, when the shit hits the fan, if you don't have that strong foundation, you're gonna throw in the towel. And I'm speaking from experience, and I know Heidi's shaking her head because we've had many different careers in our lifetime. And, and just look around at the other agents that in this business, whether it's back home or here or whatever. Listen, man, people come in and out of this business all the time because they don't ever build that foundation. And so I know some of you guys are like, oh my God, I'm frustrated because it's not going as fast as I want it to go. And I'll keep telling you, if you keep doing the right things, which we're going to talk about today, if you keep doing the right things, it's going to catch up. But it will never catch up if you never built that foundation, because when you get frustrated, say it's not going good, this real estate thing isn't for me. It's like anything else. I used to have an Herbalife office, okay?
yeah.
I did, in Deerfield Beach Plaza, right over here on Hillsborough and Federal Highway. It was a retail Herbalife thing. And they would always say, listen, if that guy can do it, then so can you. I threw in the towel on that because I just got frustrated because it wasn't going as fast. It's like, but it's anything in business. If you have the foundation and the belief in yourself that you know that you can do it, then you'll get through those times. And then once the ball starts rolling, it just goes. It's the snowball effect. Does anybody not know what the snowball effect is? Don't be shy. If you don't know it, you guys all grew up in Florida. If you don't know what the snowball effect
Yes,
is,
it's true.
right?
Yeah.
So everybody knows what the snowball
Has
effect
anybody made a snowman?
Yeah, my first one, I
Yeah.
only made it
I
once,
wonder
and
if
it
Florida
was
people have
awesome.
actually made a snowman.
So explain to me the
I
snowball
had to do
effect.
that.
The small snowball at the top of the hill, and then it becomes bigger and bigger by accumulating the snow as it goes down.
In the beginning, you have to like form it,
Yeah, it's
and then
so
and then
hard
it
to
just
do that.
builds on
Yeah.
itself, right? And the proof is in the pudding. I've shown you guys my numbers. I could pull them up again, and the only experience that I have to draw on is myself. So if I talk about myself, it's not because I'm like talking about myself. I'm sharing with you guys about my own experience, and it has actually started to snowball. I mean, went from 0 to 25,000 to 175,000 to 250 to 500. This year, halfway through the year, $11 million. I'm not making cold calls. It's the snowball has started. In the beginning, I was pushing the rock up the mountain, which is where all of you guys are at. But eventually, it's going to tip to the other side, and it'll start going for you. So, who wants to share one thing that they've implemented in the month of July? Whether it's from your coach in launch, something that you learned here, something you learned from the video, something that's working for you. Heidi.
I was gonna let everybody else go, so like I was-
Well, you know who said that you should stop doing that?
I know.
Eric. He caught it right away. Like, be you, go right in.
Cold messaging, which we didn't
Okay.
really talk about, like,
Yeah.
I know some of you have heard him talk about it on launch. Jose Bonillo's like mastered this when he initially started prospecting. It's literally going into your Facebook and not having any, like, who cares who they are, what they do, how well you know them, and sending 20 a day, and it's just, hey, just checking in, anything I can, just checking in, see how it's going, anything I can help you with. And you'll get the most rate, and it's the most uncomfortable thing I've had to do, oddly enough. It seems so simple, but like, you're like, ooh, what do they
Oh,
think? They're gonna be like, what's she selling now? Or they're gonna be like, what do you mean? Or this or that or the other, oh, must not be going well in Florida, or, you know, I just had all these thoughts, I was like, he's like, who cares? He goes, just do it, you'll be surprised. And so the one day I made Randy, like, don't let me leave here
Right.
until I said I've done those, because I was like, I'm gonna force myself, and I just went through. And I had I think I did like 27, and I had 16 people respond, which I was shocked. A few were like, well, what do you mean? And then when somebody says, well, what do you mean, or help with what, just say anything. I just want to be a resource for people that I know. And I also do real estate if you happen to know anyone, and you just leave it at that. And some people will be, one guy asked me about the plane he's looking for, and I happened to get him connected with another guy I know. He's like, well, actually, we're looking for a plane, can you help me with that? And I'm like, well, what kind? I actually do know plane people. And then another girl was like, do I know you? Like, have we actually met? And I'm like, no, we haven't actually met. Like, we've got mutual friends. I noticed you're in Florida. I'm just new here, trying to get to know some people and want to be a resource. And I also do real estate. She's like, oh, great, yeah, let's meet up sometime. Couple people, yeah, actually, I'm looking for this. My hairdresser he happened to be on the list. He told me about a guy looking for a place at Lake of the Ozarks, so I got him on a search there. And he's like, not working with anybody. And the condo I'm probably getting ready to list in Lake of the Ozarks is like ideal for what he's looking for. So anyways, I just feel like there was a ton of like initial success. But then since then, but
Yeah.
it's so hard. I know once I
Yeah.
get in the mix of it, it'll
Yeah.
be easier, but he's like, you just do it without any expectation of response. One guy who'd been through like some serious crap and some suicidal stuff was like, you know what, that's really cool. Like, thank you. That means the world to me. Like, I appreciate it. You just reaching out. I was like, oh, you know, so some of it may have nothing to do with business, but
Yeah.
he said he got so much business from that, and he makes his people do it every day. And he goes, man, they fight me on it. He goes, you'll be shocked how successful it is. And I was shocked. I probably put in 5 new searches from that one
Wow.
time I did it. Yeah. So
Wow.
it works.
Bold
You
message.
just gotta get over that, like.
Yeah. I made you.
And literally all you
just
say, and I think I added a little bit to what he said, just because I was so uncomfortable just leaving with that. I think I added the part about just want to be a resource to my friends,
Yeah.
or something like that, so that it wasn't so awkward.
Yeah.
So who's gonna be brave enough to try that this week?
We're doing it today.
All right. All
We do
right.
it on
I like
Instagram.
I'm supposed to do
Yeah,
20 a day.
Fun.
Yeah, you can do it on Insta as well.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. It's working.
Full message.
Everything works. And I mean, I've never, ever told any of you guys to spend any money. There's so many other ways that you can make this business work until you get the money, and then you can pay to make it grow even farther. Anybody else have anything that they've implemented in July that they feel that they really want to share? It's up to you.
Cold calling works, by the way.
Yeah.
That shit works. I didn't believe it worked, but it works.
Yeah, you listen to
Yeah.
them.
Okay, so cold calling is like since the beginning of, since like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I was like, I like
Always
hated it. Like,
Oh, everybody.
we
hates
did it about a year ago, and then since then, like I didn't do any until probably 2 weeks ago, and I have 3 listings.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
are you more
calling,
comfortable
like
with it
for like the
now?
1 year, I was like, how the fuck do I get listings? Like, why does everyone have listings but not me? And then like the one thing to get listings, I like wouldn't do, and decided to do it for a week and got through.
Who are you calling now?
Like everyone, expireds, Fizzos.
Yeah.
Gotta join the launch, bro. You get the scripts.
Or just engage
So, like-
here. Listen, I'd be like, I don't know where to call you out, but I'm gonna call you out. Everybody here is holding space for you. Like, right? Like everybody here is holding space for you to step up with their hearts, because I know everybody in this room, I love all of you guys, and everybody here is holding space for you. We're like, just everybody's like, we're just waiting for Andrew to come on. Am I wrong or am I right?
You've been a lot more engaged the past week,
Yeah,
I would say.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with messaging and conversations in the office and, you know, inquiring stuff.
I just wanted to share that. with
No,
everybody.
I'd love to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that we're sitting around talking about you. I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah.
you know, there's not like, oh my God, I wish this, like, if there was somebody with negative energy, we're like, well, I hope this person just doesn't come back. That's not the case. We're like, we're all waiting. We're holding space for you.
I'm coming.
So, all right, so like you really have to start treating this business, a lot of you guys are, so don't, if I say start, if you're already doing it, it's fine. But you have to treat your business like it's a business. There's no other way that you're gonna make the big money. It's just not. You have to treat it as a business. It can't be, well, I'm just gonna grab a deal from here and grab a deal from there and grab a deal from there. If you wanna make, you know, at least $100,000 a year, which is only $10,000 a month in this business, which is really not much. Once you get going, you have to run it like a business. So I'll share a couple stories with you guys, and then we'll get into the questions and how and why tracking is so important. So in my personal life, I've had to let go of a lot of shit. Okay, because I don't know why, but I just always think there's only one way to do things. It's the only way that I know how to do it, right? So one story, and it wasn't exact, but I would always go to Mabi, like, and she's cooking, and I'm like, no, look, you take the knife and do like this, or be like stirring the pot like this. Oh, you gotta stir it. No, that wasn't
Literally
exact,
stirring the
but
pot.
literally, like, why are you
Figuratively.
going to the right? You know, you gotta go to the left. And as I've progressed on me and worked on me, I realized, like, as long as the pot is getting stirred, it doesn't matter, right? And when I let that shit go in my personal life, like my relationship just flourished and it became something beautiful. But before it was me always like fighting, wanting it. And it wasn't like a conscious, like, hey, I'm trying to control. It was just I didn't know any other way. And I would always try to teach somebody that there's a better way. Like, okay, whatever. So I worked in restaurants and they taught me, you know, watch out for your fingers and never like cut towards you, right? Something basic. So when I see people in my household doing that, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You're gonna cut your finger off. You know what I mean? And then it just creates this stupid little fight about, why don't you leave me alone? I've been cutting apples my whole fucking life and I'm 40 years old, right? No, but you're gonna cut, and then it's like, so once I was like, oh, she's cutting it the wrong way.
Okay.
So what? Like, it was just so free,
Different way, not really.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same thing with what we have going on here with my business, okay? So, all I do is share with you guys the way that I do things and what's helped me be successful in this business in a very short period of time. But that doesn't mean you have to do it exactly the same way that I do. So, for example, like, you guys don't have to be at these meetings. I can only tell you that that's what worked for me, was plugging in to a coach that I was actually paying for and being at all of those meetings. And I traveled around the country to do it. You don't have to track your numbers, right? I mean, it's your business. You can run it however you want to do it. I can just share with you that tracking the numbers is what worked for me. You don't have to time block. All I can tell you is, like, that's what worked for me, was time blocking, turning my phone off and calling within a system, like a follow-up system, making the phone calls, turning off my emails while I'm making phone calls, turning off my social media while I'm time blocking and making the phone calls, you know? Who can tell me what, like, as far as on a daily basis, what's the minimum that we've been told is to prosper? How many hours? 3 hours. What's the word before that? So for the 3. Minimum. Thank you. If you ain't got nothing else going in your life, the word's minimum. Like, that's when I'm gonna just speak the way I speak in real life. Like, you know, like when your balls out and you're just like, you got a shit ton of leads coming in and you got all this stuff going on. It's a minimum of 3 hours a day. If you don't have enough going on, then make it more than a minimum. I mean, you can prospect for 6 hours a day, right? Just don't get burnt out. Pick a couple days to do it and do it, right? So you don't have to follow up relentlessly. You don't. Like, you could call somebody once, you can call them twice and just say, okay, whatever, you don't have to follow up relentlessly. I'm just telling you, I followed up relentlessly, and that's what got the ball rolling for me, to where my phone rings all the time now. And I make $40,000 to $50,000 a month, and I do not make any outbound phone calls right now. And that's not saying that I shouldn't be, but my goal was to get this ball rolling in this office, right, for all of you guys. So you can do whatever you want, but, you know, where does it start? It starts with your vision, okay? And, like, if you don't have the vision of where you're going to be, then you don't have the motivation to do what it takes to get there. So following up relentlessly is it's just a must-have in this business. So does anybody have a clear vision of what they want for their business, like financially, how many deals a year, blah, 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 that they want to share?
I know, I'm $400,000 this year.
Okay? And do you know how many deals you have to get that?
Not exactly.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay. Listen, we're all where we're at. We're at where we're at. Okay, and I have to look at myself too in the mirror. A lot of times I go, how come you don't have it more clearly defined of what it's gonna take to get this to that? Okay, so you can have this big goal, hey, I wanna make $1 million a year, but you gotta back it down and break it down into the steps of what you have to, the numbers to
Make
get
it
there.
simple.
Yeah, make it simple, so that your brain knows what to do every day, right? So, so my vision, anybody else have a clear vision of what they want, how many deals they want a year?
I think it might be
That's not very clear.
35
saying.
deals at 300,000, depending on the price range.
Okay, so, I'll tell you, a vision that I have for all of you guys is 30 deals in a year. Like, if you're gonna be around for 12 months, 14 months, 18 months, you should be doing a minimum of 30 deals a year, right? And I know we're all of you guys are just getting the ball rolling. Some of you have been doing it a little bit longer than others, but a minimum goal should be 30 deals a year at $350,000 an average deal. Okay, and that $350,000 average deal is really like low. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have told you that, but I haven't seen, there's no single family houses for 350. You know, Randy just got an offer yesterday for 600, you know? So 350 should be like really attainable. That's working with condos, couple townhouses and some houses. So that should be like the minimum, 30 at 350. Minimum, that's gonna make you $160,000 a year or $13,500 a month. That's if every lead came from this office and splitting at 50-50, right? That's if every lead was generated from here and you didn't do anything in your life other than just take leads from the office, right? Which we know that's not the goal. So my vision for me, my vision is we're gonna have 6 offices in the next 2 years. So by 2024, I'm gonna have 6 offices. I don't know who's gonna run them, but I know that's what I'm gonna do because that's what I set my mind to do. And I know whenever and all of you guys can say this about yourselves. I don't believe that there's anything that any of you have ever really wanted that you haven't gotten unless the universe just wasn't meant for you to have it. So like if you're like, hey, I want that, you usually go get it. Am I right or am I wrong? So when you decide you want something, and I watch the children do it all the time, if they want it, they're gonna go get it, right? So I decided I'm gonna have 6 offices. And so that's gonna happen by 2024. That means I need 6 people that wanna be a business partner with me. And double what they're gonna make, or what you could make as an agent. So
I'm in. Sorry.
it's okay.
I'm bowing.
It's okay. So I just wanted to share with you, you know, you have to have a vision, okay? Otherwise, the daily practices don't matter, right? And so that's my vision, 6 offices, all right? Whatever your vision is, if it's not 30 deals, it doesn't matter. If you guys are like, shit, you know what, man, I'm happy to make 60 grand a year. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with it, you know? But I want to share with you guys why it's so important to track your numbers. So, I had wrote this up there a couple weeks ago, literally and seriously, like I hear it all the time. Do you guys hear it all the time now?
Yeah.
Like with the younger generation, like they just throw it in for everything. Like I was literally walking down the street. You were literally walking down the street? What the fuck does that even mean? Like, I don't know, it's just like, it's getting overused. So be a witness of that. Literally, no, seriously, I was walking down, you were seriously walking down the street? You were like walking down the street? So anyway, words to eliminate. That's just in my head. Then this came to me too. You know how we had talked about like, hey, your clients want to be led. I was like, to me, it sounds better when they want to be guided, right? Because I didn't feel like, I know they want to be led, but that word just didn't resonate with me. Like, hey, I'm going to lead you on your path to, I'm going to guide you. So maybe just that terminology might work better in your head. Guidance versus leadership. Okay, so I want to share a story with you guys, and I know Andrew will get a kick at this.
Yeah, I'm seeing some words on the board.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I used to sell cooking oil for a living. Those of you guys know that, right? So it was a system, and I'll just draw the system out, right? So here's your big McDonald's. Okay, here's the box. In the back, there was this little box here. and this truck, okay, would show up and pump the oil into the restaurant through this box, okay? And then inside here, you had some fryers, okay? And then we had lines running from these two tanks back here. So the truck would come, this is the truck, yes. Okay. I know it looks like a lizard, but, okay, the truck would come and pump the oil in, the fresh oil, and suck the old oil out. Okay, and then we would run lines from here to the fryers. And the chef, the cook, whatever you want to call him, he could stand at the fryer and literally, seriously, pump the oil into the fryer and pump the oil back out. Now, reason I'm sharing this with you is because we had these two tanks, okay? And it would take our guys to install them probably about 8, sometimes 10 hours, depending on if we were doing like a freaking Ritz-Carlton or we were doing just a small McDonald's. On top of here, there was a couple of pumps, okay? Now, the hoses got connected over to the fryers and then back to the back wall. So for this whole system to work, you need every piece here or it's not gonna work. On top of this, there was, it was called the recirc line. So it would keep it was like encased in it was 3 lines. So here's the oil that comes through, then there's 2 lines that run along with it, really, really thin. And those lines would just constantly circulate warm liquid around the oil cut, so that the oil didn't ever solidify. Didn't really matter in Florida because it stays warm, but up north it was very important. Otherwise, it would just like freeze. So you had to have every piece of this system for it to work, for them to be able to stand over here and just pick up a gun and go and put it in. But it was really easy to push the other button and go and it can go back out. Okay. There's another piece of this, which is called the telemetry. Okay. Now inside of the fresh tank, there's a string pot. Okay, and it's a float, almost like the float. It is the float that's in your toilet that stops the water from running. So as the level of oil goes down, this string pot would go down, and there's a reading here, like whatever, 1,000 pounds. Okay, as they use it, it would go down 800 pounds, and it would go down to 700 pounds. Okay, the beauty of the system, which is the whole reason that I would sell this, was not all this is great, all this physical equipment, but as a business owner, I could say, hey, listen, I'm going to be able to allow you to track what your employees are doing every day. So you're going to know how much oil that they're pumping in and how, if they're filtering every day, because filtering the oil is a big part of keeping the oil fresh. And if they're not filtering every day, and then you're also going to know how much they're dumping. So if we're instructing them, don't dump the oil. Oil is a cost, right? And a lot of employees don't look at it. They think just things like water that they're boiling something in. They don't realize that the cost is like $1 a pound. So you get 1,000 pounds, it's $1,000 worth of oil sitting in your tank in your back, okay? And if they're just like flushing it like it's water, you're burning up your food cost, okay? So they had, so everybody's clear on that. The string pot, okay, the string pot was connected to a phone line, and then eventually it was all wireless. But it would feed into a database. So we could see what the daily activity was, okay? So the technicians, even though they're supposed to install everything, if they had another call, they would just like, well, you know what? The telemetry's it's not connected. I gotta go to my next call. I'll come back and do it. So here's what it looks like. It's 1,000, and this is 0, okay? And then every day, this is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. You guys get the idea. So when it's working properly, it looks something like this. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, and then maybe on the 7th day, they go, oh, it's ready to be dumped. So they dump 3 fryers, boom, like that. And then it goes like this. Saturday, Sunday, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture, right? So when we look at a month, okay, a month would look like this. Here's the whole month. And it would look like this. Dump, 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 like that. And then we would see a delivery. We get another 1,000 pounds. So the flow goes back up. And then it goes and then it goes back up. And that's like a perfect way to operate your oil consumption, right? So when I go in and I sell this thing, I'm selling them on this. Like you can be in Hawaii and know if your people are doing their job back in the restaurant. Okay, you can sit on the beach, pull up your computer and know if they're burning through your oil. So the restaurant owners loved it. Here's the problem. People would call me a month. So I would tell them, say, look, the first month there's no data, right? We're gonna deliver and it's just establishing a base. Month number 2, we're gonna actually be able to see what they're actually doing, and if they're doing it right now, I need to come in and do a retraining for your staff on how to filter properly, dispose properly.
What you do?
Yes, before I
Oh,
hired
that's
you,
right,
that's right, I did everything.
You had to do it all.
That's a very good lesson there too. Know all your shit so you can teach it to somebody else, because if you ever need to, you can go back and do it, right? So, so then what happens is that we say, okay, for the first month, you know, we're just gonna create a baseline. Month number 2, we're gonna go over it. And then some people, like when I had came in business, I had already inherited a whole bunch of customers who were already established. And I would get calls all the time. And my boss would tell me, hey, the most important thing to do is when somebody wants to cancel. Why would somebody want to cancel? Because they think they're using too much oil. Oh my God, we went through $2,000 worth of oil. The system sucks. I want to go back to picking up jugs and just buying it little by little. I'm paying you guys a fee to have it here. It's just, I'm like, okay, how do I combat that? My boss would say, you go in and you show them, you print it out and you go, look, this is why it's costing me too much money. Because look, on Wednesday, okay, you had 1,000 pounds. Tuesday, you had 800. Wednesday, you had 600. Thursday, you had 400. These guys are, each fryer's 50 pounds each. So if they're dumping 200 at a time, they're emptying all 4 fryers every 2 days. There's where your money's going. It's not the problem with our system, it's the problem with your staff. So let's get a retrain and show them how to do it, okay? Now, here's the problem. Somebody calls me, Mike, I want to cancel, blah, blah. Every time somebody would cancel, I got to go find another sale, okay? Mike, I want to cancel, and I'm using way too much oil, and you need to come in here and talk about it. Just get me off of this stupid program. And I go in, okay, and I pull the chart. And this is Monday, another Monday, a whole month. Let's say this is the month of June. And I pull this. They have nothing. Because the telemetry is not hooked up. Or it's not working. Or the technician decided, I literally had to have, seriously, had to have a conversation with them. And I sat them down. They didn't work for me, right? There's sales and ops. And I said, guys, you have to connect this effing telemetry. No, Mike, it doesn't matter. It's not an operational part of the system. They can still pump in oil. What's the problem? They can pump and dispose. That's all they need to do. I said, no, you don't get it. This is the most important thing. And they didn't get it until I had to explain it, and I had to show them and walk through exactly what I'm telling you guys. I said, if the data's not there, they're gonna cancel. That's it. And I got 25, 30 people a month calling me to cancel. And I go to sit with them and say, well, let me tell you what. Oh, shit. Let me do this, Mr. Customer. I'm gonna have my technician come out here. And in 2 months, we're gonna meet again after we connect this telemetry. You know, so the data was so important for me to be able to keep the customers that we had, because I had to prove to them, you know, what was going wrong, right? And I'm talking, this is a big company. We had 20,000 McDonald's, we had all the Burger Kings, all the Rocco's Tacos, that whole group, all of them. I signed up all of them. And then it's on me, like it's my reputation if I sold them something that's not working, costing them money. So the most important thing to me was having that telemetry to be able to know what I can go in and fix. Oh, look, so all right, they're dumping every 3 days. Let me come in and train them so we can only dump every 7 days. So then I would have a meeting with the staff and go, hey, here's a test kit. Okay, make sure you're filtering it every day. Make sure that the oil looks like this versus that. And if it looks like that, go ahead and use it 1 more day and then dump it. And then we're gonna put a lock system on here so that you, as a whatever, $8 an hour employee, can't just dump it. Okay, we're gonna put a lock there so that you're gonna have to go take a sample of oil, say, hey, Mr. Manager, can I dump the oil? Yes, here, let me unlock it for you. Go ahead, dump it. All right, so now I'm a hero because I solved the problem that they had. Without tracking, I had nothing. I lost the customer. So the reason I shared that with you because it's a real life example of everything really needs to be tracked. So same thing in our business, okay? So we have this system follow-up boss. And I'm going to, and then you have leads. So I'm just gonna pass this out with you, to you guys. So we got this follow-up boss, right? That's our baseline. We haven't had any data to actually look at because we just got it and we all just started using it. Before I go into this, does anybody have any questions about how to maintain your oil? No?
You call me for,
Call Andrew for a
So
retraining.
interesting.
you need a toilet floor.
I had to fix those, like,
Yeah,
because,
nasty.
so we almost lost a customer to us because there was no data. I remember what's his name. So technician's like, oh, we can't get out there for like 3 weeks. I'm like, how easy is it to fix? They're like, oh, it's 2 wires and a ball. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'll go down there and stick my hand into it.
Was it dirty oil or?
It was a fresh oil tank, but it still
It's
smelled
nasty.
nasty.
Some of the technicians would shave their arms
Yeah.
because of
It would
the
stick in it.
oil would stick to their hair. It's nasty.
These are just a whole different level, so I was gonna ask if it was hot.
Well, I would train people with the oil. Went wild, it was hot.
Oh,
Yeah.
So people would be like,
Here, think what it does.
I'm like, I'm here. Yeah, it's like, fuck it, this is what I do. Just don't touch this part.
So I'm just gonna pass these out because all we've been doing is establishing our base, right? The 2 months of oil usage, so we can go in and say, okay, where do we need to fix? What can we adjust, right? So this is why it's so important to track your numbers. Do we need to make more phone calls? So do you need to get more leads? Do you have to make more connections? You guys get the idea, right? Okay, so Heidi, these are cold, warm, hot, and there's no judgment on it. It's just we established a base, and now we're gonna move forward. We're gonna continue to use the system so that we can drill down. And when you guys say, hey, Mike, I'm not making any money or I'm not getting sales, we can look at it and go, okay, where do we need to adjust what we're doing? Okay, Andrew, Sean, Zach.
Yo, I think Mojo might be good. I haven't decided.
Well, that's, but
We'll
that's,
talk another time.
yeah, that's a completely different subject.
I just thought about it. 'Cause I was
Thomas.
thinking about calls and follow-ups.
And Nick. Okay, but so there's 2 different things, right? Mojo is a lead source.
Yeah.
Okay, just like Zillow is a lead source. And you guys don't have to use these now, I'm just giving it to you, all right? Some of you guys are doing very well, some of you, your telemetry's never been connected. Anybody follow? No, I didn't follow
Some
that.
of you short circuit your.
Some of you just
every now and then.
short circuit.
I
your
really
telemetry.
have like never called off follow-ups, probably like twice. through,
Okay.
like, Zillow leads. I just
Yeah.
need to import to follow-up bossing call.
Yeah, oh, that's part of it, absolutely. But also part of it, it's your database. Okay, so your database, and Heidi pointed it out best, which is your database is your 401k. Okay, your database is what's gonna pay you forever without having to do work, right? So you should be getting a 10%. I know Danny says 7%. But I talked to the guys in leverage and they're getting way more than 7% return on their database. So 10% is what you should be getting. So if you have 100 people, and we're gonna go over this in a minute, so don't focus too much on it. If you have 100 people in your database, you should be getting 10 deals a year from those 100 people. Well, the 200, you get 20, 300, you get 30, okay? These are, so those are hot, warm, cold. That has nothing to do with the amount of phone calls you're making from follow-ups. That just means that, hey, these are the 5 hot customers that I'm working with, okay, that are gonna close in the next couple of months. Here's the warm ones that they said that they need to get pre-qualified or whatever, so that way you have a daily thing to do, Zach, right? And I'm only talking to you because we're having a conversation, so that you can go and say, okay, what do I do today? Well, let me look at my cold. I got 500 in there. Let me make 50 phone calls to that group and see who I can get over to warm. And the cold would be somebody that you never talked to, or somebody that said, no, I'm 6 months out. You call them, you know what? Something just happened. My boyfriend and I just broke up. I need a place to live. I'm glad you called. Great, boom, put them into warm. When are you ready? I got 2 months, great. Then you move them from warm to hot, right? So the database is the most important thing, just like the telemetry is the most important thing. So you can go in and look at, where are my numbers? Who do I need to call today to move from cold to warm to hot, and then get them to close, okay? Now these are your leads, okay? This is just since we started realtor.com, and I just want you guys to know that they're in there so that we can, like, when we do these meetings, the whole month of August is all gonna be about tracking and getting your real estate business on track. Okay? It's not a criticism, it's not a judgment, it's like everybody here is here to empower and lift everybody else, yes or no? Like, we don't hold anything close to the chest, right? Oh, how'd you do that? Oh, I'm not gonna tell you. Every other real estate office I know is just like that. With the exception of people that are in the Danny Morel launch program. I'm not gonna tell you what I did, because you're gonna take from me. There's so much business out there, so much. All you need is 30 deals to make $200,000 a year. Okay, so these are your realtor.com leads. Heidi, Nick, Sean, Thomas, Zach, Andrew. Okay. And then some of you have not ever gotten Zillow Direct Connect leads. These are the leads that are $3,600 a month right now that we're going to be shifting if we're not getting results from it. But these are all on one. All right. So I just want you to be aware where your numbers are at so that you can look at yourself in your mirror. These are all the same. And just say, okay, how am I doing? Anybody missing one? How am I doing?
Where am I on here?
You're not, because you have had your own Zillow Direct Connect, right? Now, these are from the beginning of the year. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, I think, Sean, you were on there a little bit. And these are not yours, these are just from mine. You don't, okay, go ahead.
The only question I have, well, I guess, yeah.
Did you answer your own question?
Yeah, I didn't answer it, but I just said actually that's not.
All right, and you can ask if you want, but if you think it doesn't matter.
That's what I have.
So,
You can use this if you want to.
no, I don't need to represent, listen, I don't even want to review it, I don't even want to look at it. This is our baseline, this is our telemetry, okay? And like, don't put judgment on it. All it is, okay, where am I at? And you gotta start where you're at. You can't start yesterday. You can't start a month ago, right? Just like the story about the telemetry. I would show up, I'm like, I got nothing for you, man. You can either cancel, and I can pull all this shit out, and I can fight them to get your deinstall fee, because we had a deinstall fee they would have to pay. I can fight to get it back because we didn't have our shit hooked up right. Or you can give me 2 months of good data, and then we can look at it and see if we can save you some money. And that was the only way I could save an account, right? So the data is the most important. So just look at it, see where you're at, and go, hey, what do I need to shift to kind of get this thing going, right? We're building a sales organization here, okay? And what we're creating is a leadership model, and all the models are different, okay? This is just happens to be what I want to create. I want to create a leadership model. I don't want to have 100 agents running around calling me. I don't want to be, at this point in time in my life, I really don't want to just be a broker where I have to handle everybody's problems and deal with somebody that doesn't know how to write up a contract and does 2 sales a year and cries every time that they do it, because I was in an office like that. And the broker was like sitting there, and every time somebody would come in, they would just, all they had was complaints, but they would like, that's not what I want to do. I want to create leaders, right? I want to work with people that are actually bringing something to the table. Okay, so it's called a value exchange, right? If you guys bring something to the table, the leader brings something to the table. And so if we're talking about getting 6 offices, we're going to create 6 business partners and 6 leaders, okay? So in every organization, whether it's in any kind of sales organization, whether you're selling cars, whether you're selling oil, this is the way that it always plays out. You have your top 20, you guys can write this down. And if you grab one of those books off the shelf back there, it says the first chapter is about the 80-20 rule, okay? So there's the top 20% performers. Then you have, as in sales agents, these is car sales, whatever it is. You got your mid 30%, and then you got your mid bottom 30%, and then you have your bottom 20%. So you have your top 20% performers, mid 30%, mid bottom 30%, and then you got your bottom 20%. Does anybody know what the difference is between the people here in the top 20% and all the way down this yeah? Anybody? Anybody want to take a guess?
The difference.
That's it.
Good thing Heidi was there.
That was a battle.
That's the only difference. The only difference between the people in every organization, if you're on the lot selling cars, which I don't know if anybody has done it, I've done it before, like if you're on the lot selling cars, the only difference is between this guy that's making $200,000 a year selling cars and this guy that's making $20,000 a year selling cars is the belief. It's the same car. It's the lot's full of the same cars, right? It's not luck of the draw. It doesn't work that way. It's law of averages and believing and being able to communicate. So that's what we've been working on up until this point is your communication, your scripts, everything that you need to be able to do your job properly. Now you have all the tools. Now it's just the beliefs and actually taking the action, okay? So what we're doing here, and I'm sharing this with you guys because I want you guys to know what the future holds, okay? I know that we're all working towards getting to $10,000 a month, then $20,000 a month, then $40,000 a month. That comes in your daily practice. After you get that, there's three key things to building an organization. Okay, number one, and I'm telling you guys, because some of you guys are going to be the leaders in this office, or in the other offices that we build. Okay, number one is, do they fit culture? Number two is trust. Is there trust going both ways? Is there trust between the person that's being led and the person that's leading? And then number three, have they proven they can do what we teach? And Danny shared it on one of our calls the other day. I've known this, but it's really just good to hear it over and over and over. Is you'll never become a millionaire by yourself if you're in any kind of a sales organization. It's just so you have to have other people to go with you, right? So I know that you guys might think, fuck you, Mike, millionaire. I just want to make 10 grand a month, dude, right? So, but it starts with the foundation. Two things I can't teach to. Okay, I can't teach this culture. You're either it or you're not. And I can't teach trust. But what I can teach is how to help you guys improve, that you can prove that you do what we do teach you. Okay, so everybody got that?
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing, number three, is all the database. Okay, but I can't, like, we can teach you the basics, which is the scripts, what to say, that. Now it's like, okay, now we have to teach on what are you doing, where can we make the adjustments to make sure that the money's coming in. Everybody follow me? So your database to be able to coach on should look like this. And this is what we're going to work on over the next month. The whole entire month of August is going to be database, 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 okay? So your database should be consistent of two things, okay? And the simpler we keep it, the better. It should be known and then unknown. And we're working on changing what it looks like within Follow Up Boss so that it's just easy, okay? Randy and I are working on that. So your known is going to be past clients. It's going to be family. It's going to be friends. And then it's going to be your SOI. Okay, who can give me some examples of the SOI? Love it. I had it written down on my page. Your pool guy, your hairdresser, and who else?
The dog walker for your building.
Whatever. Like, you get it? It's other people that you know that aren't your family. They're not necessarily your friends. They're not a past client, but you're around them. You know who they are. This is your gold month right here. This is your 401k. Okay, this is where you're going to get a 10% return for the rest of your life. And so those of you that are buyer's agents, and I would suggest that everybody should still be a buyer's agent, Don't stop what you've been doing so far to shift gears to do something completely different. If you're doing successful at being a buyer's agent, just sprinkle in listing agent. And then you get your own buyer's agent that you can feed all the leads to, which is what I do with all of you guys. Like, I really don't even work with buyers unless they are people that I already know. Okay, so 10%. So here's the ultimate goal. I'm gonna show you how this works. You put 100 people in here, past clients, family, friends, SOI Goldmine. Part of this program that I'm paying for the social media also includes great drip campaigns for buyers and sellers within Follow Up Plus. Because my buddy Colton, the marketing company that he started, they have all these proven systems. So we don't have to go reinvent it. We don't have to create it. It's like, hey, here's my money, put it in our Follow Up Plus. So what you guys' job is to do is to get the people in here, and then we're gonna give you the drip campaigns to make sure that they're constantly followed up on, like every quarter. They're automatically gonna get something that says, hey, would you like to know what your house is worth? Right, so you guys are doing that with certain prospecting. Hey, we sold a house down the street, you wanna know what your house is worth? You're gonna be dripping on these people, okay? But it's gonna be all automated. So you get 100 people in there, 200, 300, 400, 500, okay? Once you get to 500, you really don't have to worry. That's 50 deals. People just, your phone just ring. Okay, so don't make the mistake that I did and just throw caution to the wind and just fly by the seat of your pants for your first 2 years. And then you gotta go in and just clean up your mess. Because that's what I'm having to do right now. But just by going through the process, I mean, I've been in sales organizations, so I kind of just like do it by my head or whatever. But that's not the right way. The right way is to do it right from the beginning so that you don't have to go in and undo the mess that you created. So this is your gold mine. Everybody else in there is the people that you don't know. So everybody else would be unknown, which would be like a Zillow lead, okay, a realtor lead, a Facebook lead. And anybody else in the entire world you just don't know. So which databases should hold more people? There's a hell of a lot more people in the world that you don't know than you do, right? Okay, so what would be the goal between these two? Exactly, it's very simple, right? Like the simpler you keep it, the easier it's going to be to do. You want to get as many people from here over to here, because once they're here, then they're just going to send you business. Okay, so we're going to work through this, throughout the entire month. I just wanted to share you guys the basics. Okay, so you got your known and unknown, and then within the unknown, you got your hot and warm cold. Simple, just keep it simple. All right, this is what you're going to be calling on every day, trying to get people motivated, getting them to buy a house, sell a house, whatever. These are just going to be people you're directing, right? And then they're going to be referring to you. Cool. Anybody have any questions on that? Anybody have anything they want to share on that?
Question.
Yes, sir.
One issue I run into is talking to someone on the phone, from whether it's a sign or anything, and not, like, I just write their stuff down, like, they should definitely go into the database, right?
Every single thing that you do should be in the database.
Can you do it off the phone too?
There is an app that you can download.
Yeah,
It's
that's
called
one thing I like
Follow
about
Up
it.
What I don't call it a follow-up box. What I do is that I log my calls when I do call. So I just go in like the system and you can just press like log call and write notes for whatever you're doing. It doesn't record my voice, obviously that's important for active prospecting. If you want to listen back, but like more or less I just log the call because I just for me it's not as diluted for me, and for me that's just how I like to do it.
Right, and like I said in the beginning, you don't have to stir the pot the way that I stir it.
Yeah.
However, I can only share with you the way that I stir the pot, right? And so what I would do is if I was just gonna sit down and bang out 50 calls, I'd do them within Follow Up Plus. Because I'm calling an unknown market, right? Right, if you're calling, even if you call somebody, if they're in there, like I would be calling from Follow Up Plus because it's gonna track it. And then at the end of the month, you got a telemetry to go look back at. So how many calls did I actually do? Well, this day I only made 2 calls. That week I made 50 calls every day, and that's the week that I got 3 listings. Holy shit, maybe I should just do that every week and get 3 listings a week. Now I got 12 listings in a month. Now I'm doing 100 deals in a year. Mike, remember we said we we're gonna partner up and get an office? I'm ready to go. Okay, let's go. Let's grab some money out of the bank and let's go open another office. Without being able to track it, right? It's like you gotta run it like a business.
Is there a place in there, which I could probably just look at the answer to this, but where we can switch it to our regular number?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's the only thing that's difficult for me, because then I have to remember who I've contacted through which number to know if they're gonna answer me or not, or if we've always made contact, or if they send me something and I don't get it right away, because I haven't looked at the follow-up costs.
Well, if they call you back, everybody has a number within Follow Plus. It should ring back to your.
It does,
Yeah.
but if they text me or whatever, it doesn't come to my regular text, it's in follow-up text, which
Okay.
it'll send me a. But then like when I'm calling them back, they don't answer my number, or I shoot them a text because I'm meeting them and I'm like, oh crap, dude, I think I contact them through follow-up, and I gotta remember who I contact through which number.
So this is what we're gonna do,
So I'd
because
almost
this,
rather just call from my number.
well, this month, this is what we're all gonna work out, right? We had to get the system and we had to start using it. And now we're gonna work out the kinks. So if you guys would do all of us a favor, because you're all gonna have different questions, write them down so that we can get the answers from Follow Plus. I'm not a
Yeah.
Follow Plus expert. I just know that we need to have a database to grow a business.
I think it, just where you change your number, I think you can choose it to be.
One thing I won't ever tell you guys is something I don't know. But please write them down so that we can share for the greater good, so that we can all do it. Fair enough? So you need to establish a base for tracking for what happens within your business. So how many calls are you doing a day? How many contacts have you made? Like, this is what really you guys should know off the top of your head. How many calls did I make yesterday? Out of those calls, how many contacts did I actually reach? Out of those contacts, how many property searches did I do? Just like Heidi said, she sent out 26 messages without even making a phone call. She said 4 searches from it. That number she knows because she did it once, you know, and it was like surprised the shit out of it, right? How many appointments did I get from those? How many did I move from cold to warm to hot? And then put notes on everything in your database, right? So if you guys look at some of your databases, there's just your telemetry, like I said, it's not like that. I talked to you guys about please recording as many videos as you can and getting them over to us, because we're gonna, this campaign, it may take 2 months to get it up and running, but it's gonna feed you guys a lot of leads, a lot. And the people that are gonna get that, I mean, at the end of the day, we're running the business. So those leads that are a lot of money is being spent on are going to go to the agents. And you guys should want this for your business too, when you have your office, are gonna go to the agents that are using the system so that we know what. And it's not like tracking Big Brother thing at all. It's all about lifting you guys up and getting you where you wanna be. Without the data, we can't do it. Right? So you can, Mike, I'm not making any money. What'd you do? I don't know. How many calls you make? I don't know. You know, what are you doing to prospect? You know, so, all right. So I wanted to, that was my hour of time. And today I wanted to answer any pressing questions that you guys have about your business. So who wants to go first? Yes.
Converting Facebook leads.
Okay. What's the question on converting Facebook leads?
It's the best way to respond, get them. 'Cause I get a lot of people who are like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll, help me out, and then
So before you guys answer that, because you guys are doing it and you're having success with it, Randy, too, I will tell you, the future Facebook leads that are gonna be coming through this social media program will have jumped through a lot of hoops. They will have answered, I think it's 10 questions.
No, she didn't even go over that.
I think it's either 10 or 12 questions before they're even put into
it's like all our pre-draft questions.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, they're gonna answer, what's their time frame? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to jump through a bunch of hoops, and then it's gonna become a lead. So you won't have to start from the
When
beginning.
does that turn on?
Well, when are you gonna do videos?
Sure.
There you go.
You're right.
Okay,
Start today.
so, yeah. But again,
And
take a
then
step
I-
back and like, okay, we are where we are, you can't fix yesterday, but what have I done with what I have? And now I'm asking for more, right? Is there shit there that I have that I can work on? If there's not, like, then come and ask for it, you know? So who wants to answer Andrew's
So
question?
for now, since you're not on launch, we have a whole script. Didn't we go over a script like a month ago? Like literally a whole pre-call script of like what you do on the phone after you get their phone number.
So clarify the question, because
All right,
are
so
we?
gonna say,
getting,
are you getting
getting
on the phone
getting
with
them
them
on
yet?
the phone,
Yeah,
Get
that's
their
what I
phone
thought.
number and call them.
Yeah, that's.
just ask them immediately,
Well,
or I go email address and I create a search and then I follow up.
what I do is this, is I tell, I give them my phone number off the Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And I say, text me. And that way I can get you all the additional information about the specific property and other properties, and then they text you, and then you just call them, because they have already texted you, so you have their phone number.
What are you texting them?
He had like, I used his exact verbiage, I got copy and pasted
It's
every
working for you?
time. And a lot of them don't
Use that as well.
respond,
Sure.
but that way you only respond to ones that do. Some of
They're
them might
serious.
call you right away or whatever, but if they give you a number, now you get to talk to them, like you gotta get them on the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
email messaging.
No,
Not the best way.
No,
I mean, I
they may
have.
no
two people
connection.
send
I
them
have, but
searches.
yeah.
Your results will be better when you can have a
And
conversation.
you just find out what motivates them.
Personality.
And if they don't respond, who cares?
yeah, if they
You
don't
said it's
respond.
Or if
then
they
they
say,
need
can
to
I just
be
have the
initiated.
address? Sure, text me and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll call you. Like, some of them just want you to give the address.
Yeah, if people say that to me, I don't answer.
I ended up with a lady the other day who was a realtor. I was like, oh, she's a realtor. We'll come and find out she's a realtor in Utah,
I've got it,
moving
Chris.
here, living in property.
Right.
So she wants help. And I,
There you go.
That's-
But wait. Do you say it's available?
Yeah.
I said, I said the same exact thing as well. I said, because it's
Can
on
you,
the
can
same.
you put it in the group?
He did.
text?
Here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I put, good morning, Chrissy, this property is still available. Give me a quick text at 561-460-9.
So then you get on the phone, you say it's not.
And no, and the text.
you say, I'll pull it up to double check and they go, ooh, looks like it's gone.
Yeah.
I'll get you more
Literally,
information.
that's what I do every single time.
I don't say yes, I just say yes. Like, cause they usually click that thing that says this is available. I just put, yes, shoot me a quick text to this number and
Well, here's the thing is when you're dealing with people, you always give them what they want to hear.
Mhm.
Like, even if it's, but here's how it'll go. Let's have you're the agent, okay? Hey, tell me it's not available. Hey, Andrew, is 123 Main Street available?
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Exactly, that's exactly.
Right, done. What the fuck do I want to talk to you about anymore?
oh, you're telling them it's not available?
Well, not initially, they'll be like, oh, hey, I figured that it's not
Yeah,
available,
'cause then-
I'd like to create this for you or whatever.
So I always tell them yes, because I want to keep them on the phone.
Yeah.
Right? I want to keep them on the phone. And then, you know what? I can't tell you how many times it's happened where something is available, by the time I go see it, it's not available.
Yeah.
But even if it's the next day.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a good
So-
way to say, hey, this is a fast market.
Yeah.
Right. So Sean, you wanted to share what you say? A role play?
Yeah, so. Hey, is this Andrew?
Yes, she's calling.
This is Sean from XP Realty. You reached out to me on Facebook about that property. Is that right?
Yeah, is it even a real listing?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's actually one of my team's listings. You were interested to find out if it's still available, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let me just see if I can pull up some more information on it. In the meantime, are you looking for a similar property just like that one?
What do you mean it's not available?
I'm checking right now within my team because it's a listing held by my team, so I just have to double check to make sure that it's still, available because I'm not the one that personally listed it. But I do advertising, all goes through me.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm open to something.
so what are you looking for exactly?
I'm looking for a 322 with a pool and a backyard that's fenced in, and it has to be under 300,000 in book.
Okay, and how long have you been looking?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's- we don't
have to go
Yeah,
by
the way.
yeah, yeah, like,
You're
Okay.
in.
So,
eventually you just say, oh, well, like I just checked with Zach and unfortunately it's no longer available, but with all the information just gave me.
Let me send you a few more, just say it.
yeah,
Most people,
That
once you
was-
get
that
them on the
was an issue.
phone, are very grateful. like,
Yes.
That
oh
was
yeah,
one of
send me other ones, send me what else you got.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's really no,
And then that was missing. Like,
So what's the one thing that, did anybody catch what one thing that Sean didn't mention that we always say, nobody else uses, not even,
Off-market.
yes. One thing, off market is the hook, keeps them on the hook, okay? Who
Who on
else
my
is it?
team has, some off-market properties as well.
Yeah. Are you open to off-market properties? Listen, you know what an off-market property is? The one that gets listed tomorrow. Right now, it's off-market,
So
so
your,
don't think over it too
yeah,
much.
your listing that comes this weekend isn't off-market until the open house. Like, you know.
Well, no, it's on, no, I mean, I'll take an offer, but I'm still doing the open house.
You're not accepting these offers.
Nobody can see it until the open house.
Oh, okay, so the showing time is not. I didn't.
Correct. Yeah, nobody can go in and see the property until Saturday, Sunday, and legally, you can't do it because it's discrimination.
Paul's
What do you mean?
So
If you're having an open house, you can't show before.
if you say no showings until Saturday.
Yeah.
So it says, oh, can I just see it Wednesday? Oh, sure, for you, I'll show it Wednesday.
Okay.
It's discrimination. They made that rule, that law a couple of years ago because people saying, oh, I'm being
Yeah, I was wondering-
discriminated.
I was wondering why on some of the like open houses, they are so strict. They were like, no, it says no showings.
Right. They do that to create a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like, that's not everybody's strategy,
And
some,
also to hopefully get both sides.
yeah, that
You get
too.
20 listings in the same day. and you have one.
Yeah.
Or 20.
The other thing is, has anybody ever asked you on the phone, is this a real listing?
Yes. No. No, well, no.
They've asked me, is it your listing?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I've heard that.
and there's no problem to say, no, it's not my listing,
That's okay.
but I do have access to off-market properties, would you like to have those too as well?
Okay.
So tell me exactly what you like, right? And so the reason that I say that is because it's a story that you've created in your head that I used to have in my head, but that isn't real.
No, it's fine. I just want to know how to respond to it. I mean, I've still converted.
For me, I would just say you're not making the connection, so no one's tied to you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, it's, I'll be like, unfortunately, very fast, but I could set you up. So it's very similar properties in this market is.
Yeah, I would try to eliminate setting somebody up
Yeah.
on a search. I would get away from that verbiage. So, all right, so, hey, Andrew, listen, that house, I can set up an appointment to go see it. Do you want to see other houses that are similar that the same day we go see it? Because I try to go out and show 4 or 5 properties to save you time. So I'll set an appointment for that, even if it's not available, I tell them I'm gonna set an appointment. I'll set an appointment for that house, and would you like to see 3 or 4 other ones? Yes, because here's what you're trying to do, and I did this too. I tried to set up searches for people, and then I thought they were just gonna come out of the sky and fall in my lap because they're looking at my search, and that nobody else is reaching out to them. So eliminate the, hey, I'm gonna set you up on a search, right? Let's say, I'm gonna get you out and find you a property. Let's go look at, what's your day available? I'm available Thursdays. Great. Thursdays, let's set up an appointment for Thursday. In the meantime, I'll set you up on search so that we can pick properties between now and Thursday. Right? Because what I did is I set up a whole bunch of searches and go, that's the year I made 25 grand. Waiting for people to call me back on
I don't
searches.
even tell them they're on a search till like later in the process, so that they think I'm literally sending them ones every day.
Yes.
So they think
That's
I'm
what-
doing that, they don't know that it's a search, and then
Yeah, they
later,
know,
once
yeah.
I've met them,
Yeah, they
by the
know.
way, you're on alert, so as soon as the new one comes up, you're gonna get it, so let me know.
Okay, who has the next question?
Go ahead.
Well, mine's more for future because it would be like long, but just to kind of what you would say to each of these categories. Cause yeah, I'm following up, but I don't think I'm doing a very good job of converting, so I don't, what am I gonna say to my hots every time I call, what am I gonna say to my warrants? What am I gonna say to my- so that would be,
Can you make a
Really
note
good
of that
for
for
me.
the next meeting?
Yeah.
The next meeting.
I'm calling them and I feel like it's just this, hey, just checking in, okay.
Yeah, so just real quick, so
Very
we don't have to
fast.
wait, so you don't have to wait 7 days before you get that answer. What I would say is, I would go to them with a specific property.
Like the hots.
Yeah, if you got somebody that's hot, that's ready to buy in the next couple months, I would go to them, hey, listen, I found this specific property. I wanted to see if you guys are available on, what day are you available to go see it? Well, can you send it to me? Yeah, I'll send it to you, but this one's gonna go quick. Do you guys have a day that you can go later this week? Call them with something different. Did you hear that the interest rates just dropped half a point?
no,
Just give them something other than, hey, I'm checking in.
They did it.
You know what happens? Interest rates change every day.
Yeah.
All day, like the
They
stock
did drop
market.
again. I
They
don't
did
know how
drop.
much, but they did drop again.
But it's just a conversation point.
mean, at least when I was first like doing the follow-up, that checking in is like the fucking, like the words, like, hey, I'm just following up, hey, I'm just checking in, fuck, I want to kill myself.
It's like this
Right.
FISBOs
Jesus
too.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you call them FISBOs, it's like, hey, I called you 2 weeks ago, just checking in. They're like, what are you checking in, dude? I
What are you
haven't sold
checking
my
in
house
on?
yet.
It's
Like,
simple. Hey, did you
check
see
it.
that property
Thanks,
sold
I'm
down
not
the
your
street?
mom.
Yeah,
Did you see that property that sold down the street?
yeah. No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that one just down the street just sold for like 450.
It only took them 10 days while your property has languished on the market.
Yeah.
So
Just-
how
Think of something
Language,
different.
I'm like, I don't even know that word.
That's a
and
long
acquired a
script.
stigma
Yeah.
of a for
It's an
sale by
awkward
owner.
salad script.
Even with this, I went over, you know,
Fruit salad.
pressure yourself, because the fact is that they did reach out, we did speak with them at one point, or more told that they didn't want to buy a house, like you fully justified going to the general.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know, I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't feel
Really
bad
don't
about
need-
that, I just don't know what to say, I feel like
Right.
I'm very passive.
I mean, a lot of my follow-ups only like 1 or 2 minute conversations, but it's just really nice, and like, then the next time I call them, it's not, it doesn't matter why I call them or anything else in general.
So I'm
Just conversation.
So I mean, you can do something very simple. You want to do it very simple, just go look. Hey, I'm calling you because my day on Friday cleared up and I wanted to see if you guys are available Friday to look at properties. No, Heidi, Friday, I work all day. Is there a different day that works better for you? Then it's not pushing.
Oh, that day cleared up too.
Well, let me see for you if I could rearrange some stuff on Saturday. So I can get this done for you.
Well, I was supposed to go away.
Hey, my Friday cleared up. I just wanted to see, are you guys at a spot where you can go looking Friday, or you just want to still, whatever?
That's good for follow-up text too.
Yeah, so we'll create a list of those. And as you guys go around, create a list. Please create a list of things that are good to say,
Yeah.
right? Who else has a question? Was that, did you have another one?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Heidi, now you
We're gonna
have
get
to-
Heidi out of that bullshit. What's your next
Yeah.
question?
No, because
Yeah.
then everybody feel like, oh, it's like.
No.
No.
So many questions.
What's Sadie's category? The other two will be quick answers for you probably. Common inspection issues around here, because I know what the normal ones are in Missouri, and so I would be like, oh, that's really normal, this comes up all the time, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I don't know what normal ones are here,
So
I don't know what to be
you did have an inspection with North, right?
yes.
Yeah, okay, so he's the best. I don't care if you like him or not, he's the best at explaining stuff and talking to customers. Because like settlement cracks are pretty common. There's not a lot of foundation shit that happens in Florida. It just doesn't. We don't have basements, we don't have anything like that. So when somebody says, oh, it's a foundational issue, no, it's not. It's just a crack. Okay, it's a sediment crack. The houses are built on sand here, basically. So they settle over the years, and there's a little crack here, little crack, but there's nothing usually wrong with the foundation.
It's not like the ground is freezing.
No, it doesn't freeze and
We
expand
have
at
a
all.
lot of- we have a lot of foundation issues.
So we don't have that. Doesn't happen. It's a flat slab, the house is put on top of it, and that's it.
Let's say it's sinkhole.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that, we don't have sinkholes in South Florida. Sinkholes are more in Central Florida.
The water is.
So they don't really happen down there, okay? Other common issues, things that come up. Roof. Roof is always the biggest deal because it's the most expensive. And so the key about the roof to be able to get insurance is that you want to make sure that the inspector just says it has so many years of life left. Should be at least 5. And then you can get insurance, no problem.
I thought there was a cap no matter what, like on age. Like 10 years with insurance. They have,
5 years.
yeah, because the inspector just has to say,
I have a shingle roof right now that's 31 years old, but Mark put it as 4 to 5 years worth of life expectancy, so I'm able to get insurance, it's just $9,000 a year.
Right, and then they replace the roof and they save $6,000 a year.
This is a ridiculous question. I don't know if I should probably be asking this.
Well, hold on, but let's answer.
With
this.
insurance. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Insurance.
super quick.
Yeah.
Super quick. Like I let my clients just find insurance. Am I
Fuck, no, no.
Am I
You-
supposed to like help them get insurance
Absolutely,
like during the
100%.
inspection period?
Do you,
Or
have
after?
you seen that folder with a list of trusted providers?
Yes, but is it during the inspection period or after? Like this
After.
is after inspection period.
So they can't get insurance unless
Yeah.
they have an inspection. They can't even get a quote unless they have,
Okay, so what if the inspection period's over, they can't get insured?
then they get their money back.
Really? The
Yeah.
deposit- the
If
deposit's
they
back.
can't, yeah, because if they're financing and they can't get insurance, they can't buy the house.
Can't get
Thanks, time.
Okay, yeah, That was, maybe I like knew that.
So
had asked
I need
it.
to get Amanda in
That's a
here
good question though,
because just ask
Yeah,
Sean,
about-
because Sean just blindly does whatever I have told him to do. How's your relationship with Amanda?
I'll just-
Has she saved your ass?
Yes.
I'll give you a number. And
I
then
just
she'll
put it
do the
in
other
text.
question.
It's in your packet.
All right,
It's in
perfect.
your-
Okay.
Yeah.
I just need to know that real quick.
So Amanda is the best. I only work with the best because they're the ones that help me grow my business from day one. And so Amanda saved your ass and saved many deals for you, right?
She said she was able to figure out, she's actually saying like 2 for just in the past week.
Okay, beautiful. What was your next question?
Just common inspection issues.
Common inspection issues. What else are you guys running into?
I guess mold a thing around here. It's a
Mold?
big
Okay,
deal
so-
in Missouri, but it's
Okay,
like,
so mold in Florida is everywhere. Just get that into your head and it'll help you with conversations
It's on
with your
my
The
buyers.
levels of it.
So the difference is not all mold is bad.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is mold everywhere. Every air conditioning system has some kind of mold. Okay, we live in Florida, it's very humid, there's mold everywhere, right? But I really wouldn't be worried too much about the mold unless the inspector says, hey, we need to get a mold inspector out here, right? A little bit of mold, and Mark is good at having these conversations, say, listen, some of the little surface mold, spray with bleach is gone, right? If it's overwhelming, then you should probably have it tested.
And mold abatement can be expensive, but it's not that big a deal. We do it a lot in Missouri.
It's a couple grand.
Yeah.
2-3 grand.
It's a normal thing in Missouri. So.
The one deal that you had, Mike, that went through.
I would say something else that's common for inspections is Challenger and Florida Pacific breaker boxes. Like, as far as, especially like with condos and stuff.
No, but that's not something that would deter from, right?
Well,
And
okay,
it's not
so
super expensive.
That's not like a big
an electrical panel to be replaced is about $1,200 and it's on our list. Okay, so Sean's right, you don't need to know it. I think there's Sylvania, Challenger, and
Florida Pacific.
Florida Pacific. Those are the three. If you can just memorize those three, it's not gonna make or break that deal, but what it will do is you're the expert.
Yeah, you say go with-
That's it. 'Cause when you walk in and you're showing the house, instead of just being the realtor that turns the lights on and stands there, you look, especially in the beginning, when you don't know what to do,
Yeah.
because you don't know what to do. When you're new, you're like, what do I do? What happens?
Yeah.
Just go like, oh, yeah, just kind of like be 10 feet apart from them. I wouldn't be in the master bedroom upstairs when they're downstairs, because you're not gonna hear the conversation. So why don't you just look at it? And even if you got no idea what you're looking at, open it, close it. How's that look? That's pretty good. Yep. Whatever, you know, if it says Sylvania, go, oh, you know what? I'm not sure if we can get insurance on this, but it's not really that big a deal. These are about $1,200. So when we do the inspection, we'll have him look at that. Okay, just keep that in your mind. Go look at the air conditioner, see if you can see the date on there. A lot of times you can't even see the date because it's embedded in the code. But you say, oh, look, the AC is only like 6 years old. If it's 20 years old, don't point it out. That's it. I mean, don't create problems for yourself, right?
That's, I think that's the half battle. It's just don't.
Creating
Don't
problems.
create
Exactly.
problems. Don't
Um,
speak.
don't hard
Don't.
I mean, that's it. The most common problems are, are easily solvable. Termites, okay. Termites, you can tent the house for $1,200, $1,500. Little outlets that don't work, it's not a big deal. The biggest thing is, an air conditioning, if it's not working, it's not working, but an air conditioner is $5,000, work it into the deal, what else? Sorry,
I was really surprised with that plumbing stuff. I didn't realize like that's a bigger deal around here. The old cast.
The cast iron?
irons.
Well, okay, so
Florida Pacific.
do yourself a favor, and if you can avoid having it properly scoped with the camera,
God, dude.
don't do it,
Oh,
all right?
Wait,
And if you're,
ruins
okay,
every deal.
if you're,
Plumbing scope.
like, if you send any camera down a pipe, it's never gonna look good, okay?
No shit.
Like, and so what it is, here's what it is, it's all setting up expectations for your customers. Go ahead.
Does Mark do plumbing as well?
No.
Wow,
He
okay.
refers that.
Okay, yeah, but I've never, never had a property that I've ever sold scoped with a camera. Never. You've had it, and I know you've had it.
was
So
going,
when does
it
that happen?
almost happened,
Do you
my
ask for it?
person.
It's
asked for
always
it.
fucked up down there.
You know, there's sometimes you can't like not do one because the buyer will be the one that recommends it. Like my buyer's husband was a fucking general contractor and like you can't do much about that.
Or your
Like,
inspector.
Yeah, my buyer was like, no, I want that done.
Yeah.
Or your inspector said.
Yeah, and in that case, you gotta tell me, because then I'm gonna tell him, dude, shut the fuck up, quit telling people to do more extra. Oh, we should get a termite and a roof inspect, no, you go do your job. If the client asks for it, or if you see something that is really concerning, then bring it up. And he usually only does that if he sees something, because, you know, like, he's never suggested it to me. And he was on probably 30 inspections just for me. But really what it comes down to is setting expectations. So we can definitely have a whole entire class about it. But the expectation is this, Thomas, when we do an inspection, okay, they're gonna check the house top to bottom. Okay, from the foundation through the roof and every outlet. You know why they're there? To find things that are wrong. Even my inspector, that's a friend of mine, he's like, we've been on houses that are almost perfect. He's like, Mike, I can't really find anything, but I have to put down 2 or 3 things. Otherwise, these people are like, what did I pay you for? To say I have a perfect house, right? So, and I share that story with all my customers. I said, so the inspectors are there to find things wrong with the house. And that's what they're going to do because there is no perfect house. So it's really for you to go in and just have your eyes open so that you know what you're getting into. I don't use it as a negotiating tool unless it's something major, okay? So we're always gonna find things wrong. Don't worry about it. It happens on every sale. And when we get it back, we'll look at it and we'll see if there are things that need to be corrected or if we can just live with it. Because we know that within this market, like people will take the property the way that it is. Does that help you guys? Okay.
I think for some home buyers, that's like the most important thing to communicate is that really the inspection's only made for structural things or things that are humongous items or bigger items. And then like that takes away all of it.
Right. I see Sean talks differently than I do. He says humongous things. I love it. You know, humongous isn't the word that I use, but it sounds good when Sean says it, you know? So it's like stir the pot however you want to stir it, but like you gotta have that there, right? Okay. And who else has questions? Because Randy asked everybody to come too. If you don't have questions, I would cautious you that you might be just because you're not dealing with enough people. If questions aren't coming up, that means you just don't, like, remember the guy that the investor that I went to, my buddy brought me to, and he goes, oh, everybody loves Mike, Mike's never have a problem. Yeah, because Mike hasn't worked with enough people yet. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So who has questions? Go ahead, Thomas.
I
You've
have a
been quiet.
question. I work with this investor and I came across a 1031 exchange.
Mhm.
So it's like a capital gains tax thing, like it says it inside on the MLS, like does the property need to like include the 1031 form on the offer, or does it like?
No, all that it means is that the investor, investor buying it,
But I came across one of those.
yeah. If it's an investor buying it and it's an investor selling it, well, if it's a 1031, it doesn't matter. If you're talking about FERPTA or 1031,
It says 1031.
doesn't matter. That's the seller's property.
Yeah.
It's not the buyer's.
Sellers.
Like the specific form.
No, it doesn't.
Nope.
Why would
Nothing.
this-
Are you sure it's not an incentive to be like, hey, you buy this
Yeah.
with the 1031 exchange? Like the 1031 exchange. you're sure
Yeah,
it's not
because
an
why would
incentive?
sellers say that?
Yeah.
It just said it in.
It's doing it
public
1031.
remarks, I was like,
That's weird.
So no, it's not weird. It's very common. So I would do that for my listing. I would say this is a great property for a 1031 exchange.
No, okay. Go ahead. finish that.
No, that's it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, a seller to say that their property isn't, like, that's one thing to say it's a good 1031 for somebody to purchase.
Right.
But not, it wouldn't be a 1031 for him until he sells it, and then he's gonna 1031 exchange, like,
That's nothing to do.
once you own it, it's not a 1031 until you've sold it. Then you're gonna put that money to something else as an exchange. Sorry. I know 1031's a lot in theory, that's all he does, but sells one thing and uses that money to buy another, that's a 1031 exchange, so you don't get taxed on your capital gains.
Okay. Sell one thing to buy another.
Like when
Alright,
you
here,
sell
next
something,
venture
instead of
impact.
getting your capital gains taxes
So-
on what you made, you put that money to another
Yeah, so-
property, but it has to be a like property, well, what's his face talked about, it has to be.
You have
like
a certain,
property.
you have a certain period of time to do that.
Yes, so here's very simple, just so everybody's on the same page. You buy a property for 100,000, and you sell it for 100,000, or 200,000, you made 100,000. Okay, so if it's your personal residence, if you live there, no problem whatsoever. You don't have to pay capital gains on it. You live there, it increased in value until it goes over $500,000 that you made on it, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Okay, so your taxes would be paid on this $100,000. Everybody follow me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so on that $100,000, you can take that $100,000 profit and you could go buy another property with it, which is called the 1031 exchange. Okay, you're exchanging this money to buy another property. And now you don't have to pay any taxes on it, okay? Because you're buying another property with it. Eventually, you're gonna have to pay taxes on it. But if you take this 100 and you buy a property for 300, and then that property goes up to 600, eventually when you cash out, you have to pay the taxes on it. But it's like you're
You're
just
kinda like
rolling it
moving
over, rolling it over,
Yeah.
rolling it
Okay,
over.
big money people, that's all they do.
Yeah.
Just keep moving their money.
Aren't they, they're trying to change something with that, right?
Yeah, they're trying to do away with being able to have the rollover. That's not getting the politics. Who else has a question?
Republican.
With one of my investors, she's talking with one of her new neighbors, and the new neighbor is actually going to sell her a house just privately. But she just likes me around, so she just wants me to like essentially like proctor the deal, and she'll give me a few $1,000s, but it's essentially just using Amy. Like just having Amy run the entire deal, Amy will get paid, and I'm just gonna be there and just collect money, I guess, and then like just sit there for whatever like questions or just comfort. You ever done something like that?
No.
Like it's something random that just came up.
Yeah, so, two things. I would, this happens to you a lot, these one-offs. First of all, I would look in your database, and look at the amount of leads that are there, and the amount of leads that have been provided to you, and go, why am I dealing with $2,000? Number one, speaking from my heart, love you. Number two, if you're gonna make $2,000 by just giving it to Amy, go for it. Whatever. But it still has to be run through EXP, because the EXP is the ones that are gonna get paid the money. Because you can't get paid a check.
No. I was going to write the contract, have them there, buyer agrees to pay, or EXP Realty.
Yeah.
Yada, like I was gonna make it official. But it's essentially, again, just me proctoring a private sale.
Right, and then the other, number two thing I would question you on is where you're spending your time. Because, you know, there's been some deals that you've had, that you spent a shit ton of time on, that sucked the life out of you, sucked the time out of you, sucked the energy out of you, and the money that you made because of it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So I would look at that too. Is it worth your time to make the $2,000? Because proctoring a deal sounds easy until you're proctoring a deal, and now you're sitting there doing all the work that you would normally do to get a $20,000 paycheck, and you're doing it for two, which is preventing you from getting the $20,000. So just look at it. If you can actually turn it over and have somebody run the deal as a transaction coordinator, she's gonna get paid $395 to do it, and you're gonna get $1,000 for doing it. You have to make those expectations very, very clear.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that we're all gonna work on getting better at, is expectations with our customers. Make it very clear from the beginning, this is what I will do, this is what I won't do. If you want me to just do the paperwork, that's it. I'm not involved in negotiation, I'm not involved in the inspection, I'm not involved in deposits, I'm not involved, none of that shit. It's not worth it. Consulting, none of that, it's not worth it. Because you know what that is? That's somebody that's trying to, it's like taking a 1% listing.
Yeah.
Because they don't see your value.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's quick, easy, and simple, go for it. And then go back and look at your database and see the opportunities that you have.
I'll chime into that too, because I had that happen a lot in the beginning, just because I'm one of those nice people, and my friends are like, oh, I don't want to hire an agent, but can you help me with this? I spent more time on the ones that I didn't make money on than the ones I did make money on, because they keep coming back to you and, hey, will you look over this inspection? Hey, is this, what should I ask for on this? So like I had to get to where, yes, I will, but here's what you get from me for $2,000, and
Yep.
that's it. Like otherwise, there's a fee I get paid, and it's because it's my time, that's my value, and all that type of thing.
And-
So I want to help you as a friend, but
And I'll give you
I
an
also
out, you just
want-
say, my company won't allow me. This is what my company, that's it. My company will allow me to do this for 2,000, otherwise they need minimum 2.5% fee. It's not me. the money goes to EXP. And that's what they'll allow me to do. So if you want me to just run the deal for you, but I'm not getting involved in any conversations, like, I mean, you get.
Yeah.
Who else has a question? Like, and so when we do these Q and As, and I learned this from being in a different program, because there would be like an audience of like 600 people. And somebody says, oh, well, my brother's aunt's uncle's sister had this stuff, like this way off. The guy's like, oh, 600 people in the room. Can you bring up common things?
Yeah.
That are happening, right? So when we do like a Q and A, try not to make just like the one-off that'll never happen again.
Right.
Okay, so who else has a question?
Yeah, I already think this is great though, originally I'm getting common inspection issues. like you guys asking me questions. But
Quick
I
one
have
while
two
people are
questions.
thinking, what's
Yes.
a normal deposit amount around here?
Go ahead, Sean.
I would say $5,000 for something 300, 350 or less, and 10,000 for anything more than that.
Well, say that one more time. Normal
5,000 for 300 or 350 or less, and then 10,000 for anything more than that.
5,000 total.
5,000.
Initial.
Deposit.
I don't ever do
second.
two deposits, never do
Really?
two
I do
deposits.
too.
I never,
All the
never, never,
time.
never.
What do you mean to?
Yeah.
So you say, well, here's
Five-
my initial
five before,
deposit,
five
then
after.
after the inspection, I'll give you another 5,000. You know what that is?
Yeah, right.
There's one more thing that you gotta follow up on,
So one first initial deposit.
and that's it, and we close.
And I've
And
had,
it also creates doubt.
I've had buyers tell me they're not
What?
gonna fucking do something.
What do you mean it increased that?
If you do
Like,
two.
Yeah, you do too.
Yeah, I
Put
only
some
do
negative
one.
energy
Yeah,
out there.
negative.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't believe it's gonna pass, so I'm not gonna give it to you. And then the
Yeah, yeah,
buyer
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, what do you for me? And
One.
the sellers.
That's it, one deposit. You were saying?
I was saying that I've had buyers before, we negotiate the inspection and everything else, but there was something that they wanted very, very specific that was minute, and that doesn't matter. And they're like, I'm not gonna do this until they do that. And you don't wanna get into a challenge game with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes, just one deposit, make life easy. Anybody else have a question that they wrote down before they came here? So, so nobody has any more questions?
Well,
Go ahead.
Like I have two. Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, is there a set time frame of when you have to have the appraisal from the executed contract date? Because I know the executed contract date is 7 days inspection. So is the appraisal like 10, I remember 10 days for some reason. I'm like,
It's
is
roughly
it
around
like-
10 days. It's not really written in the contract,
Okay,
and we can do a classes up with class on contracts one day. But it's not really written in the contract, and the lender handles all that. You don't have to worry about it.
okay, so,
If you don't
I don't
know who
need to
the
know what
lender
time
is,
frame.
I would definitely ask. When are you guys scheduling the appraisal?
okay,
Even if you do know the lender, sometimes I have to reach out to cross country and ask them.
Keep them on.
Yeah, keep them on it.
so the lender's
So,
gonna be.
But before you leave, I'll just end on one thing, and I know because some of you guys have a call in 20 minutes, and I want to give you guys some time. We can continue here until the 11, I don't care. I don't want to sound harsh, but until you guys literally, seriously take this as a business, it's never going to take off. So simple little things like when Randy says, hey, we're gonna have a Q&A. Write down 2 questions that are bugging you, and we'll answer them as a group. If you show up and you don't have those 2 questions written down, are you running this as a business, or is this a hobby and you're trying to make some money to match what you used to make at your other job? Just ask yourself, right? So we're running a business, and if you guys want to make the big money, you gotta run it like a business. Otherwise, you're just another agent out there picking up lock boxes and putting signs in yards for other people. 70 years old, still opening lock boxes, or you'll just quit the business. I'm just being real with you. There's only one way to be successful in anything, and that's to go all in. And I know it's not for all of you guys, but I'm just saying, take a step back and say, hey, am I really committed to run this as a business and rock and roll this thing? And you know the answer. Here it goes.
Yeah, sorry. you know, what it-
Yes, John.
If there's a price to invest, like date and
See,
time,
brother.
would you put in an initial offer for a certain amount, like, let's say 10,000 over, and then wait until the, like, 2 hours beforehand, because you already have a good relationship with the agent, to find out what you need again to do again, or would you just wait the 2 hours before and then do them one time?
Well, so address the first thing, a lot of times it's not really like highest and best by 5 p.m. Like they don't sit down and have a meeting at 5 p.m. You know what I mean? So I mean, I would put that on all of my listings just because I wanted to bump the price up, and I did. The last one that's closing is Molokai, whatever.
Mhm.
$550,000. I thought I was gonna get a whole bunch of offers. I got one for the asking price. But they think I had 20 other offers. So I've never done it that way. I mean, I've never waited until 2 hours before a deadline, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And that's Heidi, what we went through this last couple of
Yeah.
days. For like I was on the phone begging, pleading with this other agent, and she was cool, but whatever, we didn't get the deal because it wasn't meant to be. However, we offered $100,000 over the asking price, $15,000 above whatever the appraised value was, and I told her, if we had to, we'll cash, if we have to. But just please do me a favor and let me know what the final number is before you accept an offer. And she was nice enough, but she was like, listen, I just can't promise you that I'm gonna call you back before we take another offer. And so we got an email, at least it says we took another offer. $100,000 over. Could I have called her again that day? Sure, but I mean, the more touch points you have with the person, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Or
Yeah,
gets
she,
cut off.
I would say that second call, she gave us more info and
Right.
that helped too for when we went back to them, to our buyer, because the son was an attorney, he was
Right.
gonna make the decision. If it was the lady, it would have been different, it would have been about the right buyer for the property, but since the son was an attorney, the largest cash offer was what he wanted.
And so the good point about it is we did get the information. We were able to go back to the buyers and explain to them in detail what we did to help win, even though we didn't, and they're still locked in with us. And now we have everything ready to go. We have their letter with their picture, and now they know the
They're
process,
so ready.
and they're so ready.
Now it's just about
So
finding.
I got money in the bank.
I guess my question is more so, due to like my transition of who I'm working with in a wider sense, because now we're going to put in the offer for the triplex set. And so, because they're investors and because of like who they are, obviously it's particular. But like, I don't want to set expectations for 550 and then set an offer for 550 and then find out an hour before, hey, we need to get 600, and then they just say no because they're frustrated because they thought it was 550. Or is that just more of a buyer's problem?
Listen, the less work that I have to do, the better. So what I always do is conversation after conversation after conversation after conversation before I submit anything. And I tell them, I say, hey, listen, I'm not the guy that's just gonna send you an offer. And you guys have been on the phone and heard me say this. I'm not the guy that's just gonna send you an offer by email and just wait to hear back from you. I would rather call you, introduce myself, let you know who I am as a person, what kind of a business I run, how many transactions that we do, how we're gonna make it smooth for you, and I wanna find out what the seller wants. And if you can tell me what the seller wants, I can cater my offer to that, so we don't have to go back and forth 100 times. And you'll get some agents that are gonna be like, send your highest the best. Or they'll be like, listen, this is what they want, which is what happened on Randy's deal, right? On Randy's deal, the guy was like, look, okay, we have other offers that are probably gonna be a little bit higher, but this guy is cash. And, you know, the situation is, they're not in the house anymore, they need to be somewhere else. So listen, Mike, even though you're not the highest offer, you know, what you guys are offering, I'm just gonna make it happen, because you guys seem really easy to deal with, easy to work, right? So he seemed like a more experienced agent than the agent that I was dealing with Heidi. Because like he knows I'm just gonna get it done. Granted, this guy had cash to offer. We were financing, but we were financing $100,000 over the asking price. Randy's in at asking price. And they took it.
She was a lot more.
Get correct, right? This guy was just like, look, yeah, I mean, and that's just whoever you come across. But you know, whether we won it or we lost it, we did the right thing. We did everything that we could possibly do. And I can never look in the mirror and go, well, if I would have just done this, there's nothing more that I could have done, nothing, you know? So I would always do everything verbally, because you can express yourself way better, you know? And I don't want to have my buyers, you're right, I don't want to have my buyers have to jump through 20 million different hoops. I'd rather tell them, hey, this is what they said, they need 600. Well, I'll offer 550. Then you're not going to get it. There's no point in writing it up. If I offer 550 and they come back at 600, now they're like, this is what he said. Does that help?
That helps.
Okay. Anybody else? Like, I'll stay here until 11. This is, anything right now is just bonus and extra.
Question.
If you feel like you want to go, go. Yes,
So I need the verbiage for your broker's remarks for the open house. That's listing that I'm listing today,
okay,
that says like highest and best, grand opening, blah, 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 all that stuff. Listing that today, so I need that, and I should definitely call the HOA and say, can I do an open house here, right?
so send an email to me,
Okay.
asking for what you need. And I'll put it in an email back to you.
Alright.
And you can list
And I should call the HOA,
it.
it's a townhome.
Is it gated? There's no gate? Why would you bother?
Do it. Do you think open house is effective for a townhome, or is it just like not matter?
Okay, why do we do open houses? Heidi, tell me.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
it. Who gives a shit? You're never gonna sell that house with an open house. You want buyers.
Don't
And
do
it
any
shows the
showings,
seller
though.
that
Try
you're
to
No
do some,
showings. No showings.
Even if it's not, no showing.
I know, and I don't care if it's a condo. No showings until I say you can get them. You know why?
Saturday.
Because then it's a lot of things, okay? So the first brokers that I work with, he says, this is what he used to say. Nobody can sell the house better than you can sell the house. Okay? So you need to be there at every single showing. If somebody wants to be there, you as an agent, you have to be there. You open the doors, you tell them about the house, you do this, right? So then I got into this coaching program. And my coach was like, what do you mean you're so busy? You're doing like 2 sales in a month. What the hell are you doing with the rest of your 40 hours in a week? You're like coddling these 2 deals, Mike? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, I gotta go and I gotta show it every time. She's like, you do what? Like, yeah, see, look, whoa. You do not go do your own showings. Ever, never. I'm like, yeah, but what about if there's a person in there? You explain to them why you do not do your own showings. You explain to them, because if I do my own showings, that means that there's gonna be a limited amount of people that can come because I'm only one person. So we're gonna put a lockbox on the front door. Well, I live here. Okay, so anybody that's gonna come through that lockbox is a licensed vetted real estate agent, okay? That has had a background check and everything else. So if they call me and they don't have an agent, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna represent you and I'm gonna represent them. If they're going with an agent, they're gonna go through a lockbox. Now, listen, that's the conversation you have, and not an aggressive way like I'm doing it right now. Okay, you just explain it to them in a nice way. If they push back and they say, absolutely not, I'm not doing a listing unless you come here every time, then that's what you have to do. But if you never have the conversation, you're never gonna have the opportunity. So why do you not go show your listing, especially if it's vacant? Like, why waste your time? Be on the phone,
Yeah.
make 40 phone calls and go get 2 more.
No, what I'm saying is I can put a lockbox up on it, no big deal.
Don't do it.
Just do the open house and figure.
Yes, why do we do that? I need you to know this. And then you know why I need you to know this? Because this is how you're gonna get your listings that you wanna be.
Yeah.
You need to know this like boom, like verbatim. Why do we do a grand opening?
Built anticipation.
Yeah, anticipation, everyone sees each other.
Yeah, but you don't believe it.
No, I
She
believe it.
believes it. You don't believe it.
I just
That's
wanna
why
make sure,
okay,
cause this is a town, it's not like a single family home, I
Doesn't
don't
matter.
know if there's any difference.
there's not.
Alright, cool, then I'll do it. Yeah.
Does, I mean, they still, do you want the anticipation? You want the
Yes.
feeding frenzy?
Yeah,
You know, right? Like, you know what a feeding frenzy is, like the
Big
sharks,
sale coming,
like,
one day only.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I don't even know about it, so post it.
put it
I
up today.
posted it yesterday
No showings.
did?
on my
until-
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
No showings
Get
until
on your
grand
phone.
open.
I get, yeah.
Yeah, just send me the verbiage.
But you get it though, right?
Yes,
It's like
no, I do know, I
showings.
just wanna make sure, I'm just
Got
like, I am going to do it, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a town home, is
Doesn't
there any
matter.
difference?
No.
Alright, perfect, I'm
Absolutely
doing
not.
it.
Yeah. Because you want everybody there at the same
Yeah.
time, right?
Yes,
You want all the other agents to be there at the same time. Because you guys have been there doing show. Everybody else is there at the same time.
Okay.
And then your buyers are all like, what? Oh my God, everybody wants that house. I want to buy it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yep, that's it.
Conversing with more serious people.
Yeah, you get more money when you do that. You look like you give.
20 agent cards on the table of that house, and they're like, well, we're gonna have to go big to get this house.
Those are the 20 agent cards that will last.
It also makes life easier for you. even if you're not sure. Like I know I went on a tangent about a lockbox, but I did that as a reason, because that's what I was just going through with this last deal with Paul Saperstein, and like I had to go show it every fucking
Yeah,
time,
that
like,
was
I'm not doing this anymore, you were part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if it's vacant, and you put a lockbox, you're still gonna be, your time is gonna be sucked and consumed by agents.
Yeah.
Hey, we went and looked at it, blah, blah, hey, we looked at it. Now you get 20, 30 people going through that house and you're not there. So somebody leaves the lights on, somebody leaves the door open, somebody takes a crap in the toilet, you know, get everybody through at the same time.
Yeah.
You got one day that you gotta be worried about it, and no other days. If it doesn't sell that day, then open it up. Right? Cool. What other questions?
Alright, I have, sorry, one,
Don't be sorry. What's
well,
worried?
I know, yeah, okay, thank you. So, okay, this question is on MLS. So I pretty much wanna know if the listing agent is the person deciding pretty much the buyer's commission, because you know how like all of them, they'll say either 2.5, some will say 3. I'm like, is it the listing agent that controls, like, hey, I'm gonna take this listing from you for 5, so that's why this is gonna be 2.5. And is that legal?
Yes.
Like, or could you be like, hey, I'm gonna take this 6% for you and I'm doing 4%, 2%, you know?
Oh, you can do that.
You could do that too.
I do it all the time.
Ah,
So
Okay, I wanted to know if that's.
The $500,000 listing
control.
that you're doing, an open house on this weekend, it's a 6% listing. 3.5% to me, EXP, 2.5% is on MLS.
Awesome, okay.
I spent $250 for photos. You didn't bring the buyer. All you did is get them in your car and get them over here.
as an example, from California, I hired from one of the agents in the launch call, that there was multiple agents putting $1 for the commission to be given out, and people thought that was a mistake on the MLS. They go to the closing, and they $1.
Well, you know who does that is the people in the Craig Proctor program. My coach did that. Her name's Kristen Stampini right here.
That's crap.
And I never did it because I didn't agree with it. It's a schmuck thing to do, but they didn't give a shit, and that's why part of the reason that I'm in a Danny Morel coaching program versus a Craig Proctor program, because it was all about the money and who gives a fuck who you screw over.
Yeah.
But they
You don't
did say,
feel good.
they did say, hey, listen, you know what? Yeah, you're getting $1. That's what's legal. That's what it says in there. You made the mistake, no big deal. You want to learn, this was their pitch. You want to learn how I do this? You can come sit in one of my meetings and I'll teach, maybe you can be part of my team. And I can show you, and that's, I'm like, that's.
After COVID, better make
$10,000.
I was gonna say, better make a bunch of money quick, because
That's
nobody in
bullshit.
town's gonna wanna work with you.
Yeah. So, but they also realize like in markets that are hot, like who gives a shit if they're strong? The buyer's gonna get to the house that they want to see no matter what, whether the agent want to work with them or not.
Yeah.
And Mike's not showing that, I'm not showing the house, like, we're not showing this house for $1.
Yeah. I'm like, I saw the dollar go the other day too. So I'm like,
Well, there is $1 in the
in the
non,
middle, Oh, okay,
yes,
all right.
because a non-represented agent doesn't get anything.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah. So there's always 3 numbers,
Okay,
2.5, 2.5, and then 0. Yeah.
Thank
Anybody else have any other questions? We got like 5 minutes before you guys have a lunch call. Just whatever you guys want, I'm here.
Say, like, just what Heidi was saying earlier, moving people from cold, war, what, where would you, I guess I just haven't done it enough.
I mean, it's just having conversations. The more times you touch people, the more times you call them, the more opportunities you're gonna have to find. I mean, just remember, like life is always changing. You may call somebody today and you call them in a week, their life is completely changed. The listing that I have, when I sold the guy the house, he moved there because his girlfriend had 2 kids and she wanted to move to Coral Springs. Now they're split up. It's like, I don't want to live in Coral Springs. I'm a single guy in this big house. Get me back to where I can go to happy hour. Okay. And people's lives change all the time. You know, so real estate is real estate sells, people buy and sell houses because of life altering things that happen to them. Divorce, a baby, children move out, got a new job, got a transfer, you know, I'm making more money, I want a bigger house, you know, whatever it is. So it's all just people, right? So just call and call and call. Well, I called that person last month. Yeah, well, you never know when that could happen. It changed their house. I don't know if that helps you. Because the more that you're on the phone, the more you talk to people, it's just the numbers.
But I started doing too, I write out the notes in, so like, and I'll write the dates, like.
Yeah, yeah.
last time I
Yeah.
talked to them.
So that I
So
can,
let's say
I'm
you
having
have
brain farm.
Number 1,
Okay, so what's the
You know,
question?
Topics.
making sure
List
the
of topics to bring up in the call, like reasons. to call.
Not like I'm.
I was looking as far as all that goes, like,
To like remember.
Can I ask, hold on, can I ask all of you a favor? When you're in the back or when you, whatever, come back from lunch or whatever, if you have an idea, just come write it on the board. And just, you can just do shorthand. And then we can talk about it in the next meeting.
If you do shorthand, maybe put your initials in case we don't understand.
Yeah.
Or can't read it writing. Yeah, I'm just kidding, I don't know if you know.
There you go, 15. Let's come up between now and next Wednesday, 15 different topics that you can pick the phone up and call about.
Oh, perfect.
I'll start, day clear.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Hey, my day just cleared up on Friday. Are you guys available to see or is that too soon? That's too soon. Great. Well, when's good? Tuesday. Great. Let's do Tuesday.
Oh,
March. And then we're gonna do that.
or a new property, I saw that.
Rates drop. Okay, you guys can add to that. Anybody want anything else? I know you gotta go. Good. Good meeting.
Yeah.
Meeting.
All right. You guys got something out of it and let's all build our database. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
You.
Like, if I call you right now, what are the chances of your answer?
I would have thought it'd be higher, I don't think I missed very many.
Well, mine was 26%. But so what I was gonna ask, that's what I was gonna ask her earlier, but I think so I also started my own Zillow at the same time. So like, I would take a call and I would like, make a call, 'cause this is when I had, well, I quit out here when I had 10 deals. So I haven't had, I would only make this Zillow since then. So I was like, I know my answer rate right now is shit.
I just thought that was low for me, 'cause I felt like I try to get all of them, like I'm, like,
Yeah, you make it.
I would have thought it'd been like 80 or 75. Oh.
Those are rookie numbers.
What?
Those are rookie numbers.
Like, what is this guy's cell phone number, bro? Like, just answer. You know,
Right, Randy?